Now I'm going to take my number 4 flat blender brush. I'm going to, well, gotta get it slightly wet, just a little bit there. Some water, not much, just a little, and some red and blue. Of course, making a purple. Each time you mix the purple, it will be slightly different. I think that is such a bonus of mixing it yourself every time rather than buying a pre-mixed purple. So I'm going to take that and I'm just going to place it right here and maybe just a little right there. Okay, that's nice. Now I'm going to quickly slide up here and grab some black maybe, and maybe some burnt umber. Cool. And some more purple. Let's see how that looks. Black, burnt umber, more purple. I really mixed too much paint, but let's just try it. Now it's not totally dark. You know, black, the color black would be darker than this. Now acrylics do dry out, of course, one shade darker. I just lighten it up there some. And I'm just using these vertical strokes to kind of create some mist and some feeling of, hey, there may be like little tree trunks way back in there that we don't have to paint. Yeah, that's it. And then a little bit right there. Okay, I might even go back to kind of some of my misty tones, I don't know. Plus the dirty brush, just sort of, yeah, I don't know. There you go, just playing, having fun. Cool, so there's my background in. Back up in here, I'm just gonna create a little snow patch, a little highlight here and there. I'm just establishing some of these highlights first, just so that I kind of know where I'm going. And I'll put my little shadows near them, right around them, you know. Now over here, of course, though, that's going to be our shadow side. The light's coming through the painting just like this. So it's this side that's going to be so bright. So kind of keep that in mind. I don't want to go crazy. This is easy. You don't have to worry about it mixing and creating any kind of mud. Now this is totally dry. I just gave it a few minutes. And I'm going to take my flat blender brush. And honestly, let's take some of all of this that we had previously. Of course, you're continually misting your entire palette, right, in between so that it stays wet. That's important. If you don't have those colors, just red, black, brown, and blue, okay? I'm gonna take some sap green and add to this. Green in the winter, yeah, because we're painting acrylic, we can actually do that. We can totally get away with it. Now, I don't want too much, but I do like it. I do like it. See, I will never mix. I won't have any kind of weird muddy colors by doing this. So I'm just taking full advantage of being able to paint with green. I'm just placing color up here for now. I'm just thinking about rough shapes of trees. Like you can see, very rough. I'm just trying to get the canvas covered. Here's some burnt umber just to change up the flavor of that some. Cool. And then some of my orange does show through, which I just love that. Oh, that's so good. Make a purple, take some red and blue, make a purple, and some white. I may need to stop and clean my palette because these colors are kind of conflicting in some ways. I don't want to create mud. Don't want to have a muddy palette, so I got to be very careful with it. Before we go too far, let's take a look at the paintings that you guys did in my last one. And it's always fun to see what you're up to. So be sure to share using the information there on the screen. Oh, that's kind of pretty. I don't know if you can tell what I just did there. Just put that little, you can grab a little more yellow ochre to add to that. Just like a little flower, not flowering, a little bush that's losing its leaves, turning autumn colors. This is a kind of there's not a real deep painting, you know, we're gonna see a lot of grass and stuff popping out of the snow, and I wanna have a lot of autumn colors happening as well. So just make a note of that. Let's go ahead and make a purple with some blue and red and white. Beautiful little purpley color, maybe a little bit more red. There we go, even just a little more. That's about right. Kind of pretty, because it will darken up just a little as we allow it to dry. Now, of course, this is dry. The white's already dry. So I'm just going to take these colors and run them around like this. Boom. Just right around. And what you can do, if you like, and I definitely like doing it. These are water-based acrylic paints. You can get in here with your finger and blend them to create soft edges if you like. This is kind of a dry brush blending technique. Grab a little bit of foundation medium because that'll help it flow. And there, just literally bring in, boom, little hits of that shadow snow. And if you're not already supporting us on Patreon, I definitely encourage you to go check it out because we got all kinds of fun, different things that you can't find anywhere else, like like monthly live streams and some of my most intense and long painting lessons ever. I'll put a link in the description. Maybe this here is just a white, got kind of a white highlight there, perhaps, just to show something different, you know? You can do that. Cool. Let's let all that dry, let that dry. Let me come down here and just get this finished. Some white, blue, and red. White, blue, and red. And let's get this finished in here. You know what you can do? If you angle your mister bottle up like this, you can actually just hit a little bit of mist along that section of canvas down there. If you get it up here, you'll create a weird effect where it kind of beads up because it's half wet and half dry. You can't be spraying that with water, but you see how that helps that to flow and saves you quite a bit, saves me at least, quite a bit of time doing it. Now I'm going to use the number 6 flat brush, and I've got some more white here. I'm going to take some white and I'm going to create just a reflection. Let's take some of our kind of our purpley tones, add a little black to that, because there was some black in that, a little brown even. Just anything to, and blue, anything to kind of replicate what was going on up here. And I'm going to take that and reflect that in the water. Would it have been better to do that at the same time? Yes, I forgot. A little more purple. I'm not going to go crazy with the water today, really. I'm just mostly going to go down just like this. And as long as the colors are sort of right, it'll look good. Just take some black to reflect some of these darker tones and make that a little darker right above it as well. Go over that with one more. Sometimes with your acrylic painting, you've got to go back in with another coat of paint. That's normal and perfectly okay. There you go. Creates better contrast, and then it gives me something to reflect with that contrast, which is, to me, really kind of what I want. There we go. That looks good. And then over here, I see some more of this kind of greenish gray. You can put a little green in it. And I'll just reflect some of those tones and then sort of take my finger and blend. So again, these are water-based acrylics. I don't have any trouble with that. It doesn't bother me at all. You can use a different brush if you don't want to get your fingers messy. Let me take some of our cad yellow and our yellow ochre and some white. We'll just start with that. And right up in here, I'm going to create a bush. And it's somewhere right here. And there's some tall grassy things or bushy things, whatever you want them to be, that's what they'll be. Okay, right there as well. Boom, just a little. Okay, yeah, that looks about right. And I'm going to take another color to work into that. So some red and some brown, red and brown. I'm going to work another color right into that loosely. I don't want to cover up everything I just did, of course. Light's coming through like this. It helps kind of determine where some of this is going to sit. All right, that's good. A little more red. So I like these colors. I'm trying to get as much color in this area as possible. Up in here, I do want some of that color. This is, to me, it's important to go ahead and do this before you finalize the snow, so you can build your snow around it. Even if you do mess up the bushes a little bit, it's going to be easier to do it this way for sure. For sure. So there you go. Yeah, look, and then imagine all this time you'd waste finalizing your snow and then paint a big old bush right over it. So at least now we know where our bushes are going to be and whatnot. So that's why I'm painting it maybe slightly out of order. And that's kind of pretty. Hit that with a little more pure, almost yellow ochre, maybe some pure cad yellow. Boom. Okay. Now I'm going to take my custom tapered round brush. It's one of my favorite brushes for acrylic. And I'm going to take some white and I'm going to tint it. Now I could tint it with any color I want. Maybe I'll do a little yellow ochre because I can. Just to show a little, not much, I mean like 1% yellow ochre. Only reason I'm doing that is because I've got that option, right? If this was oils, I could not do that. So right over here, I'm going to just lay down. This is exactly like you paint an acrylic cloud or anything that needs to be blended. You just lay down some color with this brush right, boom, right on top. Wipe the brush out. And then you come back. Well, see here, I could actually just pull that down and let that be a reflection. So I didn't want it that tall. So I just, boom, that'll be nice. I can do more reflections later. But before this dries, it's kind of already dried. Oh, isn't that funny? Hey, this is real life. I'm gonna take just a little foundation medium to add to that. It's not a slow drying medium, but it does slow the drying time just a little bit because you're adding moisture to it. And then you come alongside, so do smaller sections, and you come alongside and you can just feather it. Oh, it's so pretty. Dry brush blending is what this is called. You kind of use the point of the brush. I don't mean normally to choke up on the brush the way I'm doing right now. It's too much usually, but I just need to get that in there, so it'll be okay. Boom. I don't want to totally obliterate everything that I've got here. I'm just trying to pop this out with highlight. Kind of pretty. Yeah, just a little bit right there. And we'll rub it to blend it. Okay. Over here, I would expect to see, well, maybe some shadow. You know, maybe that is going to stay shadow. Just pop in a couple of these little areas. See that? It's all about creating small pockets of snow and highlight and shadow. Not any one big thing, but small pockets of highlight and shadow. Now I'm going to go ahead and work on the foreground. Not that we're 100% done necessarily, but let's just do the foreground. So I've got some water in my number 4 flat brush, and I'm going to take just some burnt umber and black, and I'm going to pull up to create some more blades of grass and whatnot. Some taller bushes and stuff. I'm actually going to thin that down a little bit more. Break my bristles open like I typically do for when I'm trying to create a lot of texture. There we go. Much larger strokes here, because this is supposed to look quite a bit closer. I see something right here that I want to do. Dark colors here, and I just want to go boom, 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 boom. Yes, nice, look at that. Instant stuff. Detail, here's some more. Just doing the same to my yellow ochres. And see, that way I've got variety within that clump. I can actually continue some of that texture over here if I wanted to. I'm going to take my number 6 flat brush, and I'm going to get my birch trees, at least underpainted. I've taken a minute just to squirt out a little more red, so that's good. At least I've got it to work with. And some blue and some white. Red, blue, and white. Kind of a really warm purple. There, that'll be my birch tree somewhere in there. Okay. I like that red warmth color to it. This isn't 100% dry down here, but it'll be okay. Foundation medium to help it flow. You can always make it bigger. Hey, you can always make it smaller, but boy, does it take a long time. So try your best to get it the right size, working it up from smaller to slightly larger. Foundation medium helps it to flow. And I like this number 6 flat brush. I think it's just perfect for this sort of thing. It is. There we go. Nice. Nice, nice. Okay, so that's kind of birch tree number 1. I think I need more paint. Let's get some more paint. Yeah, go right back over that. I mean, I like the warm orangey stuff, but it just was too transparent. So let's go over it again. Boom. Cool. There'll be more of the color of the final thing, I think. All right, I gotta stop. Come on now. Let's actually go paint a different one. Let's paint this one right here. I'm gonna come up here and do my best to just get in some of these highlights along the tree here. I do that kind of with a bit of a broken line. Typically, I don't go too far without, make sure my hand is clean, without coming back on the back side and then just muddling it like this. Okay? Actually, less paint than that. And you rinse the brush out, so it's just clean and dry, and I'll just take and muddle kind of the back away using these like overlapping strokes. See that? Boom. Creates a bit of a birch bark tree effect. I like the warmth. I think that's pretty. This won't necessarily look like much. I'll kind of keep it dark at the bottom as well. And then let me go with just some white. I'm just picking up white. It won't look like much till we get the little black, dark things on there. The shadow, not the shadows, but you know what I'm talking about. The birch bark spots. Not gonna look like much till we do get those in. Okay, yeah, there we go. And we'll do that here. You can spend a long time doing this sort of thing, but honestly, at the end of the day, I think there's so many layers in a birch tree that if you spend too much time on any one thing, it tends to be a waste of time. And I'm going to just place in now. Again, most of this is dry. It's drying basically instantly, just because of how little paint is going on up here. So there you go. We'll get some of this in. These are just, your dark spots, the birch tree spots. There is a rhyme or reason to them, actually. And so if you're interested in kind of making them look realistic, usually you have these, they're almost like, see that the little, like upside down V's kind of almost. You may want to look at some pictures of birch trees and other kind of paper bark trees and to really get them accurate. I try to do a little more impressionistic most of the time, just to feel like it works better for me, but nothing wrong with trying to do a little more accurately. Nothing wrong with that at all. A lot of the time there's a lot of black on their branches. So we'll kind of do some of that. Boom. Fairly interesting, I think. Now I'm going to go ahead and go back to my number 4 natural bristle brush. I'm going to take some, oh, there's our not Hansa yellow, that's cad yellow. Cad yellow and some yellow ochre, a little bit of red, and a little bit of our foundation medium to help it flow. And right up here, I'm just going to create some level of highlight to the grass, not too much. I don't want even, maybe not even that bright, maybe just a tiniest bit darker. Yeah, something more like that, just to go ahead and get this established as, oh, okay, now, we're gonna have some color down here. It's not gonna be flat. So I got red, yellow, green even. The green and the red will make a brown, so that'll be nice. Yeah, right in there. That looks about right. Some of this can be done even with a liner brush, but I'm just trying to get some color in there, and that breaks it up a little. It makes it just that much more interesting. Okay, water just to thin it down, because I want it quite thin. I kind of liner brush thin in some ways. Okay. Yeah, see, then I can get these like liner brush grass blades, essentially. I don't even want them that bright. Take a little blue and add to that. It's got a lot of purple in there. There, I just want to color it a little. Get some color, so they're not just black. Okay. Eraser. You can be really quick, you can do stuff like that. That's funny. Okay. A little bit more color. Just a little bit of mud at this point. That's again too bright, so I can just take my finger and clean that off. Well, wet or damp, not really wet. But a damp paper towel would be good cleaning as well. All right, I could spend forever, and this is probably overdone. I don't need to do too much more there. Stand back. Yeah, see how that just warms that up a little, makes it look not so flat and dead. But it makes it look a little more interesting and life-filled. Okay. Take some red. I'm going to get a little bit of brown. Whatever stuff around it is okay. Yeah, bring in a couple more little seed pods and whatnot. Just textures and details. I think that's appropriate and interesting for the foreground. Cool. When it comes to doing liner brush grass, it's the same as really in oil and acrylic. It's the same difference. The only difference is with the acrylic, your paint will quickly dry out, so you're gonna have to add more. Keep it the same consistency, but that's easy if you just keep your little mister bottle standing by. It's no big deal. All right, very straightforward. I just want a few blades of grass, a few sticks and whatnot, just to create some depth and detail in the painting. I like that. I think that makes a difference. I think that works. Yeah, wow, you can do so much with so little when it comes to this sort of thing. Okay. Maybe I did say I don't like to mix up paint with the liner brush, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. This is not something I normally really like to do, but I'm going to do it because I want that deep, deep purple color. There it goes. It's running. Oh, it's running. Wow, look at that. That could be a big mess. So again, just a deep purple color. I just think that that would be so pretty in this grass to have it. It's not gonna show a lot. It may not show in the camera, hardly at all, because it's so dark, such a dark purple, but oh, in person, I can see it. All right, that wraps up this painting for today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Don't forget to check out our Patreon and our website, our brushes and DVDs and paint and everything else. Thanks for watching. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Remember to subscribe if you're not already and click the like button. That helps me out a lot. Stick around, watch a couple more videos, and stay inspired.